20 years ago, before Food Allergy Canada, it was almost like navigating without a compass.
People lived in fear a lot more of food allergies than they did today, in part because you didn't have legislation like we do. You didn't have schools addressing food allergies like we do. You didn't have airlines, you didn't have restaurants. And so people really had to fend for themselves. And while there were some supports in place, there was sort of a predecessor to Food Allergy Canada, but it wasn't like today.
Early on, anaphylaxis wasn't really recognized. Within the realm of allergy, people would think about maybe hives or itchiness or runny nose or whatever, but the concept of anaphylaxis was really missing.
At that time, there was very limited resources available, and there was a lot of misinformation. People that had anaphylaxis, most of the public didn't understand what that word was, let alone say it or spell it or pronounce it.
I didn't look at the peanut as the enemy that caused her death. I looked at the lack of education and awareness, and that in order to justify what was going on and in her memory, to increase that awareness and education was very important.
The Anaphylaxis Network of Canada is dedicated to enabling its members to live safely with life-threatening allergies by sharing information, providing support, promoting education, and advocating for the needs of individuals and families living with anaphylaxis.
When you have a child or you're diagnosed with food allergy, life changes for you. Your whole world is upended and you've got to figure out how do you navigate differently in a world that's changed for you but not everybody else.
Food Allergy Canada has played a pivotal role in educating Canadians about food allergy with extremely credible information that has been scientifically and medically reviewed.
For parents out there, there's support groups now across the country to help. And for kids, there's programs like Allergy Pals that actually connect them with other kids with food allergies so they have peer support and know that they're not alone and that it's okay to have food allergies.
There's no question that me as an allergist, there are not enough of us to go around across the country. People get this diagnosis, it's often scary, they start off in an emergency room. Who do you call? Who do you talk to? And Food Allergy Canada really sort of filled the gap of giving people credible information. What do you need to know to get started? And how to access an allergist and get the health care that you need.
The things about how Food Allergy Canada has actually built the audience is it's looked at not just speaking to people who have the food allergies, but actually speaking to the broader community and helping educate the broader community on what's relevant. Because once upon a time, if you go back 20 years, people would, you'd have your child go to a birthday party and no one would understand. Or if you'd say, listen, they're really allergic, they'd think you're being alarmist. Part of the work that's done in broadening the audience, which is so important, is Food Allergy Canada has been educating people about understanding what are the do's and what are the don'ts, what are the risks, right? How do you navigate the risks? And so now all of a sudden, you take your child to a play date and you've got parents who understand so much more about food allergies because of what this organization has done.
Food Allergy Canada recognized there were these huge gaps because teachers were expected to protect these kids, but you need training to do that. And unfortunately at the time, training was limited. It was often of differing qualities, and what we wanted to do is with the medical community, provide a resource that was medically sound. One of the most significant achievements for Food Allergy Canada, working with other groups, was the legislation of Sabrina's Law, which was the first law of its kind in the country.
What arose because of the unfortunate death of Sabrina Shannon in her school from food allergy. And now because of their efforts, what we do have is a law where schools have to have a plan in place.
When they passed Bill 3 and I watched it get passed, and they said Bill 3 to become Sabrina's Law, and it got voted unanimously by all the members of Queen's Park. It was a really beautiful moment, and to see that happen. And at one point I had to testify about Sabrina and how important it was that this law or a law like it get passed to protect children with food allergies.
One of the things that Food Allergy Canada has done, which is seminal, and I'm not sure enough people know about it, is the labeling law that came into effect.
The first and the best defense for warding off these severe allergic reactions was to avoid that which caused it. And how to do that was a tool that was needed that wasn't there 20 years ago. And that was accurate, transparent, clear, and concise food labeling.
One of the efforts of this organization was during the EpiPen shortage of 2018. There was a global shortage of EpiPens, and Canada was reliant on a sole supplier to be able to provide this necessary treatment for anaphylaxis. What we did as an organization is worked with Health Canada and with the provinces, as well as other industry pharmaceutical companies, to be able to say, how do we solve this problem in the short term by getting a temporary importation of competitive product, and in the long term by ensuring there were more than one supplier in the space.
The major changes in food regulations that address the needs of food allergic consumers would have never been able to pass unless we had the support, or without actually the determination and support of the advocacy group for food allergic consumers in Canada, represented by Food Allergy Canada.
Another effort of this organization was the launch of the National Food Allergy Action Plan in May 2019. This plan was developed in collaboration with the Canadian Society of Allergy and Clinical Immunology, and it sets the blueprint for how we need to move forward to ultimately reduce the impact of food allergy, as well as improve the quality of life of Canadians that are living with this condition.
This is an organization, from the staff to the volunteers, who have just created so much impact. You know, we talk about this being the little engine that could, or hitting way above your weight. This organization does it in spades. And so when people give their time or give their money to this organization, they need to understand that this group does so much with not a lot, and has made countless, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people safe as a result.
I'm very proud of Food Allergy Canada and the teams that have come out of it. It's important to me to keep the grassroots available, to know that everybody has a voice, and government will listen, but it takes a voice of many.
So much more has developed since Sabrina's passing, and that's with the help of Food Allergy Canada. I want to say thank you, Food Allergy Canada, thank you.
We are as committed today as we have been over the past 20 years to educate, support, and advocate to improve the quality of life of Canadians living with this condition.